The official extension for macro scripts is MCR. The MS is just a general macro script, general Mac script file. It could be any type of Mac script, but MCR is used for macro scripts. So I will give MCR as an extension and then save it. Well, before any changes to this script that we already created, let's quickly make another macro script that will remove all the objects that our previous script would create. That way we can fiddle with the object creator script. We can create as many boxes as we want, and we'll have another script that we can just use to remove the previously created objects quickly. So we'll define the other script somehow like this. We can define it in the same file. It doesn't matter. We could have as many macro scripts as we wanted in the same script file. It doesn't matter. So this will be a macro script again, but its name will be delete my objects. We'll put it in the same category as the other one was, which was my own scripts. There. So now we have the header. Now we just need the code to actually remove the objects. Well, the code to remove all the objects we would create is a basic deletion, using the delete function we used earlier as well. But what do we actually delete? The other macro script created a box named myObject. You can see the name, and all the objects it created were named the same. So an easy way to get rid of the created objects would be to remove all objects from the scene that have the name myObject. For that, we have to find all those objects first. That's pretty easy actually. We'll use a special variable that we have used before, and that's the $sign. I might have mentioned back when talking about the $sign that aside from its basic functionality that is holding the current selection, it has other uses as well. It's used in path name access of objects. When we want to directly access a 3D geometry object in the scene using its name, we use the $sign. For example, an object called myObject would be found as, I'll just type it here, $sign myObject. This is called the path name in the MacScript terminology. That is because it works like when we would refer to files or folders in Windows. We can refer to objects, their children, or their children's children, just as we would when we refer to subfiles or folders in Windows using Windows path names. In Windows, we could refer to a file like, say, C 3ds Max, maps, backgrounds, photos.jpg. In MacScript, we could say $sign myObject dash myCylinder. This would access the child that's linked to myObject and has the name myCylinder. So let's try this. So we already have the myObject created, and I'll just create a myCylinder object. Name it myCylinder. I'll remove some of the objects from the scene because it's going to be confusing. So now I only have the myObject and the myCylinder. I'll link the myCylinder object to the box named myObject. And if we try this path name, we see that it refers to this box, myObject. And if we have myCylinder, it actually finds the cylinder linked to it. So using these dashes, we can actually go into the hierarchy linked to the main root object that we are accessing directly. There are other similarities between MacScript path names and the Windows type path names. Say, if we wanted to get all the objects in the scene that had their names starting with myObject, we would say $sign myObject and then an asterisk. This in return a variable holding all the objects that have their names starting with myObject. Let's create a couple boxes named myObject by pressing the script button that we created earlier. Just press it a couple of times. And to double check that we indeed have many objects, just go to the select by name dialog and you see that we have lots of objects created with the name myObject. Now try this in the listener window, this line. And as you can see, it didn't just return one specific object like as it did here. Here it was a box named myObject at this position. But it returned something different. This is